provide actionable business insights to current and aspiring entrepreneurs. My name is Antonio Demeglio, co-founder and CEO. Today, we are at Pace University Global Innovation Summit. Today, I'm here with
Ruben Austin, traditional startup founder, had a few exits, also an investor and a subject matter expert for the governments. And currently I'm on my fourth company called All in All, which is a members community centered around professional development.
So membership community is very important, of course. And I think that typically the way that somebody would get professional development out of a membership community is through simply the networking that it provides. But why is that not enough per se?
So the way we look at, community and the way we look at professional development is a bit different than, your status quo. We think professional development or coaching should be just as similar as having a shrink, right? I think you move through different stages in your life and throughout your career, and you need to have someone that helps you to coach through these challenges that you will encounter. Right? That's one part, which I'm very passionate about. On the other hand, now let's talk community, right? What is community? So I think if you bring bright minds and smart people into a room, something great will happen, right? So for us, it's just really to foster that environment and make sure that you are able to create these environments and opportunities for everybody in the room.
So when you think about opportunities that are in the room, I think there's always the question of how do you know which opportunities are available to you at that time? Does your platform provide a tech-enabled solution to be able to see who's going to be in that room?
Yeah, so you can definitely figure out who's in the room. So we are currently moving into an app that we it's our own native app, and it will make suggestions who to meet in that room, right? Based on very simple AI, right? It's a buzzword, but I wouldn't even mention it. But so you will always have suggestions who to meet, right? Now, for me, I hate going to a event, a networking event, a professional event, a tech event, and someone smacks a sticker on my chest with my name on there, and now I have to network. Or even if it says Ruben investor or Ruben founder or executive, whatever it may be. I don't like to create these environments. The reason why is because I think we're losing the human element, right? If I want to connect with someone, right, in relationships, it's all about having a connection and me liking you and you liking me, and then we can do some business together because that's business that will stay, right? So I actually wanted to talk to each other and I want to get to know each other, not just hey, we're in New York, right? So what do we say in New York? It's my name is so-and-so. What do you do, right? so that's the last question I usually want people to ask, right? And so depending on what we do, we have some ground rules where no networking per se, right? Don't tell people about your job title, don't tell them about what you do, but let them get to know you, right? And most of the time it takes a lot of pressure away, right? Where people, because we already curated the room, right? There will be great people in the room. Now it's about to connect with them, right? And that's how I think you build true community.
And so for founders that are just getting started out and they're at their first few networking events, right? I think it would probably be good advice to know what you want to get out of a networking event before you go there. But let's say that they're kind of going in generally just seeking to connect with other people.
Sure.
What are some specific pieces of advice that you would have in a traditional networking environment?
So one, I think you have to be very, very intentional what type of event you want to go to. Do you want to go to an event where everybody's invited, right? If there's an engineer, a founder, an executive, an investor, right? Finding that needle in a haystack will be very, very difficult for you, right? There may be 1,000 people in the room, and now you have to find that one person that may be of value to you, right? I think to get started, those rooms may be good because there's just so many people to meet. But I think once you move past those, you want to be a little bit more specific, right? You have to be in the market. You have to be attending different events, different networking sessions, right? And do your research. Some of them are paid, like ours community, right? There's a reason why it's closed or by approval, right? And others are just open for everyone, right? So start out with the broader one and then start narrowing down based on what your interests are and who you want to meet. I think that's usually the best type of advice, but you do have to show up. Showing up is, I think, that's where it starts, right?
Yep. Showing up is 95% of the job.
Exactly.
And so you've also been, you're a panelist and a moderator. You go to a lot of physical events, in-person events. And I'm curious on, there's some discourse, I would say, about for startup founders that are just getting started, how much time they should spend on being a thought leader. I'm curious if you have an opinion on the kind of ROI that you've seen for yourself or for founders that you've worked with regards to becoming thought leaders and being on panels like you have.
Yeah, so I think it starts with you have to actually be a thought leader and you have to add value, right? Now with social media, everybody becomes a thought leader. Everybody has a voice, right? It's like, who's the loudest, right? And I don't think there's a ton of people that I see where I'm either like listening to panels or podcasts, blogs, right? And I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about, right? But everybody has a voice now, and it's all about reach and like, right? How many people on eyeballs you actually get, right? Now, do I think everybody should be on a panel? Absolutely not, right? But I think what is a beautiful thing about being a subject matter expert, and right, and that's I think the term that you have to look at is like, what is the subject that you're an expert in, right? And there may be people that are smarter than you or not, right? However, I think you don't always have to be the person that speaks, right? You don't have to be the person that's being interviewed or that is giving advice, right? An easy way to start is by being a moderator, right? And by being a moderator, what you show now is like, hey, look, I have access to these people that are way brighter than me, right? But I'm showing expertise, right? So I think like maybe start as a moderator before you start as a panelist.
I think that's incredible advice. And I think that gets into the inherent curiosity that all startup founders or anybody that's hacker VC space should have. If you're inherently curious, you'll be able to ask good questions and you'll end up smarter. I become smarter by having conversations like this with you.
Exactly.
Right. And, the way that we function is, you are the expert, right? And we want to hear from the people that are the experts in their field. So thank you so much for your time today. Where can people find you online and learn more about what you're working on?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, Ruben A. Austin. Same handle for my Instagram. Basically, it's the same handle for everything. Trying to keep it simple. I answer most of my DMs. I'm pretty easy to get in touch with if people want to get in touch with me. And if I don't answer them, just keep bothering me, and then eventually either I'll tell you, hey, nice to meet you, but maybe not the right fit. And find me in person. Honestly, I'm such a big advocate for like in-person events. I don't think, and we spoke about this on the panel earlier, I don't think virtual and remote relationships or learning is where it's at, because you're always constantly distracted by, just like my phone was pinging the entire time, right? I think a lot of people get distracted just by what's happening. So in person over online, and hopefully I will see you somewhere in person, and just, don't be afraid. Come say hi.
Come say hi. All right. Thank you so much for your time, Ruben.
Awesome. Thank you as well.